morning, you guys. Hey, y'all. Sorry about that. I had a phone call that came through. um, what is going on? You said there's no audio. Can you hear me now? Let's see. Give me a second, y'all. You still got no sound? Yes or no? I'm reading, Joe. We can hear you. Okay, good. No, I had a phone call that actually came through. I apologize. Anyway, listen. So, y'all know I'm driving, so you know I'm not gonna be looking totally at you. I'll see you here and there when I can. But, yeah, I came in. It's nice out here. It's nice here in Pittsburgh today, but I'm out and about, and I just figured I wanted to talk about some things. One being Halston. I know you seen that in my title. In my title, you saw me put Halston up there. And the thing with that is, okay, I kept being told by you guys, oh, you got to watch Halston, you got to watch Halston. So actually, I went ahead and I did. I checked it out. It's on Netflix, and it's 5 parts. So I watched the whole thing. I watched all 5. I watched like 3 parts, and then I kind of left it. I walked away from it, and then I came back to it. So I'll say this: the first 2 parts were pretty good at pulling you in. The 3rd part, I found they started getting a little mundane, and I was like, yeah, okay, all right, whatever. And then after that, it was like, okay, cool. And then it got good again, like in the 4th and the 5th part. The 4th and the 5th part was everything. Baby, when they got to talk about Studio 54 and child, all the mess that was going on and all the coke that was being done. Baby, when I tell you, they were some high critters. Back then, I had to stop for a minute and call Chez. I said, child, is all the people that we looked up to back in the day when we were young, or were all these people junkies? It was just a sociable drug. You know, I always think cocaine was the pretty girl. Well, still ain't what no was. Still is looked at like the pretty girl drug. Oh, we're going to go powder our nose. See, people turn their nose up to a crackhead. See, if you're good, you're not going to tell anybody, oh yeah, I'm ready to go smoke me some. Ain't nobody going to say that. But it was always cute whenever I was hanging in the clubs. You know, the girls, oh, I'm going to go powder my nose. It's like, bitch, you're a junkie. Don't you want to go powder your nose? Like, that was so cute. But that was just kind of how it is, the whole thing with cocaine. It's, child, for a long time, it seemed like it was just so acceptable. And, you know, you had to have money to do it. Broke individuals cannot get hold of it. It just doesn't happen. It does not happen. And when they do, they're broke, they're sweating, you know, they sitting around looking weird, and you just kind of look at them, it's a whole different situation. Nobody really finds that cute for them. You could tell when it's a broke individual with coke because they can't get none, child. They just got a Jones. Ain't no thing. They just be looking down bad. But as a whole, I thought it was cool. I kind of like the way that Ryan Murphy writes and the way he does things, the way he situates his stuff. So I just like how he does his stuff. I really do. But yeah, Halston, it was very interesting. It was very interesting. I knew the design stuff. That stuff I knew naturally from when I went to school and all of that stuff. You all know I went to school for fashion design. So I knew all that stuff, but all those other intricate details, like all the drugs and his attitude, his poor attitude, poor thing, and how he just was faking it till he made it kind of thing. That was very interesting. I found that very, very interesting. And that was the thing that really did draw me in to the story. Oh, this traffic is ridiculous. Ridiculous. I guess I'll stay on. Whatever. Anyway. So I liked it. If you get a chance, make sure you take a look at Halston. Go see Halston. It was cool. It really was. It was cool. Like I said, Netflix, if you have all day to sit there for 5 hours, then by all means go for it. 5 hours at one time, no, not so much for me. But around hour 3, you're gonna want to go get you something to eat or something, and then come back to it. Then this was the other thing about his muse. Most designers have a muse. They do. Most of them have a muse, and that's just a female or a male. It's generally one of their models that they just love them, and they just get them geeked up to do what it is that we do. But here, how the feelings got kind of mixed up, and his muse, her name was Elsa, and Elsa kind of at one point was asking him about getting together with him. Child, he's gay as ever. He was like, oh no, baby, no, we're not gonna do none of that. Child, I fell out. I said, oh, poor thing. He did. He told me, oh no, baby, we can't do that. She said, well, I ought to try. He's stuck in rush hour. Child, listen, I don't even have it to do. I don't like this. I do not like this. I don't care for it. But yeah, so it was cool. I was like, all right, poor Elsa. But he did used to treat her lovely. As far as giving her gifts and stuff. He gave her, at one point, he gave her his apartment and all this, and he paid the rent for her and her dude and all this stuff. I was like, child, it was a mess. What's up, Natalia? It was, I was like, okay, now that's, yeah. But then on the other hand, I noticed about Halston, he used everybody around him. Everybody around him, including the boyfriend, had talent. I can't do that though. But they all had talent. And he literally used them all. He used them all, including Elsa. Because she's the one who actually designed the bottle, the Halston perfume bottle. She designed that. The whole thing. None of that had anything really to do with him. She found the shape, she was inspired by it. She had it blown into glass and brought it to him as inspiration. And the next thing you know, it's what really kicked his career off. Because it got a kick off a couple of different times. But that perfume was the no looking back. That's where the money came from. And that was not him. That was actually Elsa. His best friend, Halston the designer. That's who I'm talking about. His best friend was actually he was a costume designer. And he pretty much curated Halston's designs. Halston, they worked well together. But most of what we know to be Halston, his best friend had a lot to do with that. Halston wasn't Halston by himself. And that was the thing that I walked away with the most out of. And again, of course, they didn't teach that in school when I was in school. They ain't teach you that, baby. They said that, Halston is legendary. But no, we ain't knew nothing about the best friend and all the people behind the scenes. That was, I seen that Elsa just passed away. Yeah, that was crazy to me. That was crazy. But and everybody ended up snapping out because he had a nasty attitude. He would battle. He had his own inner demons, and he would battle. And it was stuff that's scaled all the way back to his childhood. And he had this bad habit of lashing out at his close friends. And more times than not, the best friend ended up walking away at one point. Elsa walked away. That's when he was all coked out, baby. That's when the coke had done grabbed hold to him. They were all big by that time. Elsa now this is the thing he put in to get Elsa he used his little push and pull and a favor to get her an interview with Tiffany's. And she went over there and made Tiffany's tons and tons and tons of money. She's a big deal at Tiffany's. And he act like she owed him. Never said nothing until he got all cooked out, got all stressed out, and was being in his nasty mood one day and got to telling her about how she should have been thanking him. I was like, see, that's child. We might have some problems. I'm going through the tunnel, y'all. Yes, this Halston, they made it into a miniseries. Ryan Murphy did a miniseries, a 5-part miniseries over on Netflix on the designer Halston. It's really good. It's really good. Like I said, right toward the middle is like, you'd be like, but then it picks back up and it's really good. That 4th and that 5th part, baby, got it all the way together. All the way together. Listen, anytime that I run into any footage or anybody telling their stories about Studio 54, I always just stop and listen. I stop and listen because I always felt like I was born in the wrong time. I was born too late. I was supposed to be born earlier on, I think. And I used to say that, and whenever I met my drag mother used to say the same thing about me all the time. She's like, child, you were born in the wrong time. You were supposed to be born like 10 years or 12 years earlier and see the stuff that I see. I'm like, yeah, and go to the parties and stuff, because I would have lived to be around, child, at the disco. Oh, please. I remember when the discos was going on, I was just a little boy, child. I could not wait to get grown. I could not wait. When I used to watch my grandma and them, they be getting all dressed to go out and stuff. And then some of my older cousins that are like older, they be getting dressed to go out. I was like, oh, I cannot wait to be grown. And that was back in those days when my mom and them was hanging out when I was a little boy. So they used to get dressed. It wasn't like this bull crap they do now when folks are going out. People go out now and they just, some of the stuff they be having on is garbage. They used to get dressed. They used to be sharp back then in the 70s and stuff. Well, I'm a 70s baby. But even if you go back further than that, in the 60s, child, people used to have a good old time, baby. They used to party. You hear me? So when I used to sit and watch that, I could not wait. Could not wait to get dressed. And I do now, still now, I love to get dressed. There's not really much that we do here in Pittsburgh. But yeah, I used to love to get dressed up. To go places. I have tons of clothes, but when I'm getting dressed to come sit down on the couch and turn the camera on and talk to y'all, I could. But no. No. But anyway, so when they were talking about Studio 54, just seemed like it was a blast, child. There was some of everything going on. It was a whole lot. It was a whole lot. When he walked up in there, baby, and seen his dude up there just banging somebody, just out in the open, I said, well, wait a minute. Wait a minute. And he just stood there, but that was kind of like their little thing. So I don't understand how anybody can get into that. I really don't. I don't know how anybody could withstand the pressure of that. I just couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. I'd be some kind of evil, baby. I'd be like, child. I'd be like, that's evil, child. Because I would be. But yeah, it was a mess. Then the boyfriend, child, wait till y'all get to the part about the boyfriend blackmailing and stuff. And then you didn't really know in the first first place, you didn't really realize that the boyfriend actually was a designer himself. He was a designer himself, and he lended to the whole Halston thing, but never really got credit for it. He got paid after he blackmailed him. He blackmailed the shit out of him. I said, oh, he ain't want none of them problems. He's like, child, I've got, and look, that's how long ago it was. He said, I got VHS tapes. Not VHS tapes, child. I said, okay. Child. And that's the other thing. Ryan, the one other thing that I love about Ryan Murphy, he'll go there. He'll go there because he had no problem with telling the whole story, baby, and gave you very much, because you know, Halston and Liza Minnelli were like this. And baby, shit on Muse. Liza was his original Muse. And then he met Elsa, you know, and so he lucked out in life and had himself two of them. But Liza was a good get high. She's talented, but she was, you know, she's always been rich, you know, no big thing. But yeah, girlfriend was hiding in the mug, child, and her folks got her together and told her no mistake, you're going to Betty Ford, honey. You are going to the Betty Ford Clinic, period. Because we all get paid when you get paid. And if you keep this up, baby, you're not going to get paid. And we're not going to not get paid because you want to be a high bitch. We're not doing it. But see, Halston ain't have nobody, you know, like that. But her, she talked to him. She tried to get him to go. He didn't even know what Betty Ford claimed. He was like, Betty Ford, what is that? What is high? But then he ended up having a close relationship. Now, after Liza was there, he had a close relationship with Betty Ford. He knew who she was and all of that. But yeah, so when it was time for him to get himself together, he was able to do that. They didn't really lean too much into that. They didn't go too much into him getting cleaned up, but he did get cleaned up. But it was he got down rock bottom before he cleaned up, child. By the time he cleaned up, child, he was HIV positive. He had screwed up his money and his name. Not his money, but his name. Because he could have had more money. He screwed up his income. He did. He screwed up his income. He ended up with a sweet deal where he didn't have to really do nothing for the rest of his life, but literally just live it out, you know, and that's what he did. He literally just kind of just lived his life, but he sold his name off with that old high shit. That high shit and that bad attitude and not listening to people, because he wasn't the smartest knife in the drawer. He wasn't. He was a creative. And he had too much of an attitude. So he got himself in trouble. He sold off his name twice. I'm like, damn, man. So that's like, jeez. But yeah. But them drugs was the thing that really took him down. His drug use and drugs messed him up. Messed him up pretty bad. But yeah, y'all gotta watch it. It was really good. I enjoyed it. So that was that. I should have said spoiler alert because I didn't tell you a whole lot of stuff. Anyway, like I said, it was 5 hours worth of stuff. So that's that. I was struggling back and forth whether or not like do episode by episode and review it like that. I just didn't want to do that. That is really that's my dilemma with things that are on Netflix, to do it like that, because it's rough. I still just haven't figured that out, how I want to really handle all of that. But anyway, we'll see how this goes over, what y'all tell me in the comments and stuff about reviewing as a whole in a shorter period of time during a live. I could try doing that. But yeah, trying to do episode by episode is kind of rough on a show like that. It's like long like that. Where it's all out there. Anyway, watch Halston. It's over on Netflix, y'all. Another thing I wanted to talk about I noticed that they're getting ready to do Candyman. They're going to release this other version of Candyman. Why? Why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? And there's other parts to Candyman. Isn't there like 3 Candyman movies at this point? Thank you, Zambia. Good morning, baby. Isn't there like 3 Candyman movies already? And now they got, it looks like all African-American cast. I said, okay. Child Candyman. Well, Candyman, he was black, so it makes sense. But it was him and a white woman in the first place that was having the whole issue. But now it's look like a whole black cast, and they kind of look like they're changing the narrative a little bit. Only thing they're keeping, it seems, is the, you say his name 5 times and he'll show up. But it really is urban. Like everything about it looks very urban. So I don't know. I don't know. I was pretty done with Candyman after the first one. The first one, I thought it was really good. I liked the story. I liked what it gave, the whole little aspect of it. But it didn't give me enough to indulge into a part 2 and 3 and remakes of it and all that. He don't give me all that. He all right. So Vanessa Williams is returning. Not interested in Candyman, me either. Oh, you said Vanessa Williams is returning as the mother. Oh, okay. So, I don't know. Weird. Very weird. Very, very weird. And I also see that Stephen King gave his okay nod to the remake of Firestarter, and Zac Efron is playing the dad. I said that was a good choice. I think that was a good choice, because that was the thing that the father in the original Firestarter, he did have a little sex appeal thing to him. And remember, the mother was what's her face? What's her name from what is that child's name? Heather Locklear. Heather Locklear played the mother. So yeah, she had good looking parents, and then of course it was Drew Barrymore was the Firestarter. And she was adorable back then. And I seen the little girl. They have a really adorable little girl that's playing Firestarter. You need that for the storyline. She had to be a certain, she had to be like a little innocent little girl, but she got to be a little fiery. So yeah, because to capture that role, what that role gave, because you immediately fell in love with Drew Barrymore, but you knew that she's a little spoiled, and that if pushed, she had a little fire in her, just like her dad. And so when I seen the little girl that they had playing her, I said, yeah, she got it. She got that whole little thing going on. Firestarter was, that was, again, I don't know why they felt the need to remake it. I don't, because I think the movie's perfect, just like it was. Stephen King, that child, it was perfect, just like it was. That is one of my favorites. It really is. So I don't know. We're gonna see what happens. I hope it's not another Carrie situation. Like they've tried to redo Carrie and add things to Carrie. Carrie was perfect, just like it was. So that was a major fail. But we'll see. We'll see what they do. But I loved Firestarter. Always did. I've watched that movie 900,000 times. Love that movie. She tore their asses up at the end of that movie. I wait all the way to, because child, you be crying through the, I said, I think this movie ain't supposed to have you crying, but you be crying all through the movie, child, them trying to get away from these daggone people. And then the thing with the father and all that, child, then you get down to the end, baby. When I tell you Miss Charlie ran up through there, baby, and tore their asses down. Well, burned them down, honey. And then said, it's all for you, Daddy. I said, I know that's right, Charlie. She tore their asses up. I love that movie. She come up out of there, baby. And that was typical how that one man just took and deceived her, honey. I said, oh, she really gonna get you, honey. She did. She did. She got him. He made her so mad. That's how she learned how to throw the fireballs, honey. When she got so angry with him is where she learned to literally create and throw. I said, girl, get his ass. Tore him up. Tore him down. So I'll probably be sitting in the movie theater or sitting at home mad about paying $30 again for streaming and be sitting waiting on the end like, okay, let's hurry up and get to the end, y'all. Let's see how she tear these people's ass up at the end, honey. Well, you know, they be changing stuff. When I found out about how they changed the ending of Pet Sematary, I was literally on my way. I was on my way to the theater. On my way to the theater, had a conversation with a friend, and the friend told me they changed the ending. And I was like, what? Got right on back out of the car. Ain't still to this day, have not watched it. Have not watched it. And can't. I can't. The way that they said that they changed the ending to the little boy is the last one left. Oh no, I don't want to watch that. Because that's going to make me very angry. That'll make me very angry, and I'll be very uneasy about that. When they said like the whole family at the end of the new Pet Sematary, the whole family pretty much had the little boy surrounded, and he was locked himself in the car. No, I don't want to see that. They trying to kill him. No, I don't want to see that. I don't like that. That ain't the way that's supposed to go at all. For that, I still haven't gotten to that point. I love horror movies, but if you remember, if you watched horror movies back in the day, they didn't mess with kids, and they didn't mess with old people. Everybody else gets, but you did not see old people getting killed, and you didn't see children. They just didn't do that. There would be kids and there'd be old people in the movie, and they would be there'd be an imminent danger, but it would never actually get them. You never seen older people get killed. And then here come Michael Myers. Now Michael Myers jacked up the old lady. He did it. Michael did it. In the back in the 80s, honey, things switched around a little bit. And Michael Myers tore grandma up. And it was one of the movies. It might have been Halloween 2. But he tore grandma up. He's the first one I saw that got grandma. He ran the up. And I was like, now, Michael, you out of order. But y'all know I don't like slasher films anyway. So I was in my feelings about that. I ain't like that. And I'm trying to think when I seen him really jack up some kids. I don't know. I think, the kid thing is still, people don't really mess with it too much if you don't want too much trouble. You know what I mean? They don't, but they'll jack a kid up now, but it don't be too much. It's still shocking. I heard Duchess Kelly Love was talking about some program that's on, and there was a person killed up a bunch of kids in in one of the scenes or something. It was a guy that was a crazy person, but he killed some kids. And Duchess was saying how it was. I was like, when he said it, I was like, I'm watching that. I am not watching that. Not at all. But yeah, that's one of them things. I didn't like the remake of Nightmare on Elm Street, and I loved the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. Loved them. I really did. I loved them. I think the worst one was part 2. I loved Dream Warriors, which was part 3. It was like one of my favorites. I loved Freddy Krueger. Loved him. And he's a slasher, but he's different. He's funny. He's just something. So I loved Freddy, but when they did the remake and they went back to the beginning and remade the whole Nightmare on Elm Street, I thought it was unnecessary. I hated where they went with it. I didn't like it. We knew Freddy as him being mad, and the people in the area, they had small kids, and they all attacked him and killed him, and then he came back for vengeance against that whole area, and the kids were teenagers, and he was, you know, they were like in their late teens, so they were being young adults, and they came after him. That, we was cool with that. But that movie, when they redid it, they went further into the story of Freddy. Listen, they glazed over it. We kind of knew what was going on with Freddy and why the people jacked his ass up. We knew that. We kind of knew he wasn't cool, and they jacked him up. But they didn't put any emphasis on it. Because if they had ever put emphasis on what they were really saying about him, it wouldn't have happened. It really wouldn't have. Hold on, guys.